Hey lovely people, I thought it would be fun to share with you a chit-chatty art journal with me video, so grab your sketchbook and draw along with me. So I'm just starting out with these metallic colored pencils as usual. I'm choosing a green one today, and today I'm going to be drawing another figure, or just a face pretty much, and I'm starting out with a horizontal and vertical line as always to guide where the features are going on the face, and then I'm slowly outlining where the jaw and side of the face will be. So I've gotten a few questions about how I found my style and how I would describe my style, things like that, so I thought I would talk a little bit about that in today's video. I would describe my style as not very realistic at all. I tend to lean towards exaggerated features such as small dainty noses and big sparkling eyes. I'd describe my style as idealistic and dreamlike, as I love using muted and pastel tones, and I like to incorporate a lot of whimsical elements into my work. So I'm all finished with the base sketch, and I'm just going to erase those guiding lines that I drew in the beginning in preparation for outlining the face with a ballpoint pen, and I'm just using this orange one that I got from the dollar store. And I'm just going to start tracing over those guiding lines I drew earlier. When it comes to finding your own style, it takes a lot of time, I'd have to say. I don't think there's any real formula for figuring out a style. I think that if you consciously try to make your own style, it's not going to turn out the way you want it to be. I feel like it's better to just let it happen naturally. When you just keep trying out new things, working on things you like, experimenting, you'll eventually find a groove. Once you start drawing a lot, you'll naturally find yourself falling into a pattern of style as you begin incorporating similar elements and colors into your work. So I'd say don't put pressure on yourself. Just draw what you enjoy drawing and draw a lot, and your style will manifest itself. When it comes to finding inspiration, I'd say that I find a lot of it from movie scenes. So when I'm watching movies, I might just take screenshots of things that I find to be intriguing, or I like the composition or the colors, things like that. I also get a lot of inspiration just from like Instagram. So I just recommend to screenshot things that you find interesting, because you never know when you could find some inspiration from that. And then I just kind of incorporate elements of different things I like in different images and things I see around into my own work. Okay, so it's time to get watercoloring. So I'm using my favorite Winsor & Newton little mini palette here. I'm also using Liquitex acrylic gouache in the color white, and these Simply Simmons paintbrushes in a flat brush and a skinny brush. I've gotten some questions about how I use watercolors and if I could do a tutorial on it. So I thought I'd chat a little bit about it today. You can let me know in the comments if you want a more in-depth tutorial on anything in specific. But as you can see here, I use the acrylic gouache to make my colors more pastel, and this is my biggest tip. It makes the watercolors much more opaque because acrylic gouache is an opaque medium. And I find that it mixes really well with the watercolors because gouache is kind of a medium that's in between acrylic paint and watercolor. So as you can see, I use like a dark color for shadows on the face, and then a lighter color to kind of bring out the highlights. And my biggest tip for watercolor would probably have to be patient and layer. The thing with watercolor is that you're usually working with it when it's really wet. So it's hard to layer colors when you're putting like wet paint over wet paint all the time. So be patient, let it dry in between, and kind of build up the tones you want, especially because watercolor tends to be more translucent, less opaque than acrylic or oil. So you're going to want to build up the colors unless you're going for that more kind of washed look of watercolor. So as you can see here, I'm building up those dark tones by going over top of what I previously painted. And I'm just blending it all in. And I'm adding some more shadows with a little bit of a darker color, just where shadows would naturally fall in the face and to define the features. So definitely go under the eye, around the nose. I accentuate the little tip of the nose by casting shadows, almost as if you were contouring a face with makeup. It's kind of the same with watercolor and paint. Now I'm going in with an even darker color. I'm using a dark brown and I'm really accentuating those shadows. As you can see, I'm focusing on around the eyes, the nose, under the chin, and then I'm going to go in and paint the background. I usually paint the background before I finish doing the hair or the body of the figure, just because I don't want the background paint to get on top of the figure, so it's easier to go over top of the background. For the hair, to get this beautiful kind of teal greeny blue color, I'm mixing green and blue watercolor paint with some of that white acrylic gouache again to get that pastel color, and I'm just going in and painting the hair. When you're painting hair, you gotta kind of think of it as painting each individual strand if you want it to look super realistic. Obviously, I'm not going for that look today, but as you can see, I am kind of highlighting a few of the individual strands to give the illusion that it is real hair. And now I'm just using this mild liner, which is just a type of highlighter, and I'm kind of drawing those like fleshy reddish parts of the eye. Obviously in real life you don't really have super red eyes like this, but I kind of like the way it looks, especially since there's a lot of orange and pink tones going on in the face. And now I'm using this Copic Opaque white, which is another kind of white gouache, and I'm drawing little sparkles. I just think they look really cute, and I'm just putting them on the parts of the face that would have highlight naturally anyways. As you can see, I really love using a lot of white to give the illusion of a glossy highlighted face, which is quite exaggerated and idealistic, but I really like the way it looks. And then, as always, I go in after I finish watercoloring the face, and I go back over the lines I drew in the beginning with the pen just to give more definition to the face. I'm using this just random brown fine liner for the more darker areas of the face, because the orange ballpoint pen doesn't really show up anymore over top of the watercolor, so I'm kind of focusing in on the eye and the nose area, places that need a bit more definition. Alright, I'm all finished. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm happy with how this turned out. I would love to do more chit-chatty videos like this in the future, so definitely comment down below any questions or prompts that you would like to hear about, and make sure to subscribe for more artsy videos. Thanks for watching.